A strong and independent woman is something to behold. She pays her own bills, buys her own things, and she doesn't let a man affect her stability or self-confidence. She is a soul-rich woman. Are you ready to be rich doing what you love? Be on purpose and in control of your life again. At For Women Who Love the F Word podcast, we will be openly talking about getting more clients online, getting recognition as the leader and female entrepreneur, and also the F word, being fabulous, having freedom, and financial independence. It's time to own and love the F word. Welcome to the show. Welcome to today's episode, gorgeous. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Nazar, Director of Kalco Law, and also Life Builders. Claire is a very down-to-earth lady, and because of this, I wanted to get her story out there and share it with you. And I hope that you like it and let me know what you think. There are 2 parts to this interview, so do remember to check out both episodes.
Yes, I had a lot of family time, but I was also struggling with the fact that, I didn't feel fulfilled personally. Yeah, so now I'm just basically going to a job 9 to 5, feed the family, but I don't have a sense of personal achievement. And that was when, my husband was saying to me that, have you thought about just coming out and starting up your practice in the way that you would like it to be? And so I did a bit of soul searching, and that's where I joined Kalco Law LLC. So we are 5 directors. The other 4 directors, managing director is Reena Kalpana. And basically what we, she is a very pro-family lawyer, even though she does the divorce work, but she's very pro-family. Our office is very, very pro-family. Sometimes we have kids who come over to work, when we bring them to work. So stuff like that. So we have a very family-friendly environment. And that's when I started thinking, what do I really want to do? I mean, with my legal expertise, which area do I really want to cover? And I thought about all the litigation cases I had. They always involved fallouts between directors, company directors, and usually they start off as friends. All right, friends who then say, we've got a dream, we have a great idea, let's pump in money, let's start business, and then the next thing you know, they're arguing, they're suing one another, and that's where I come in. So I was thinking, instead of damage control, why not prevention? Just the same reason, same passion why I get into the marriage education, work is simply because I think prevention is better. If you can help couples prevent themselves from going down the wrong road, I'm sure we can also prevent in the area of business, young startups, entrepreneurs from going down the wrong road. Yeah.
I love that. And when I'm hearing you, you're saying that a lot of the bad partnerships that end up suing each other started off as friends.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit based on your experience? Actually, what are maybe some of the, like I said, preventive, what are some of the qualities maybe that people should be looking for in a partner, as in business, and then so that they can prevent less of such issues happening in court?
Well, the very first line of the bat is you got to really know the person you're dealing with. Check out their friends, check out from, your business contacts, whether this is a person who is trustworthy. That's one thing. And the other thing I must say is more of a no-no. It's like, don't deal with somebody who's not willing to sign a contract with you in black and white. If they discuss terms of business, how we're going to run things.
Is this right at the beginning?
Right at the beginning, because my experience is that why I end up defending or suing clients, not suing clients, but defending my clients in court or suing, the other side, on behalf of my clients is usually because there isn't a contract or the contract hasn't been detailed enough. It's not clear enough what the terms are. And when I ask my clients, how did this even happen? Answer is always, because it was based on trust. And, did you ask, whether, he'd be willing to consider hiring a lawyer to, draft up a proper contract? Oh, no, we are startups, we've got not enough money. Or, the person says, trust me, you should trust everything I say. Or, it takes offense that, we want to draft up a contract. So to me is this, if the person actually takes offense with you drafting a contract, that's already a red signal, a red flag that should go off and say, no. Okay, because if you are forthright as a person, you should not have any problems making good on your word and your promise. And of course, you are entering a business where you are entering into a legal relationship. There should be a proper way for you to exit from the company, proper way for you to assess, how your profits should be split. Yeah, so these are things which you can't just go by word of mouth. I had cases where they just send via email or Excel spreadsheet.
So that's not valid.
Well, it becomes
black and white still. What? Email is black and white.
No, it's not good enough. It's not good enough.
Okay, email is not valid.
No, it's not that it's not valid, but it just means that if you want to sue somebody, you got to bring this whole, stack of email correspondence to say, and then it gets difficult because, as you know how human communication can be, I can one day change my mind about a clause, and I say, hey, about this term. Maybe shall we adapt it? Shall we modify it? And so at the end of the day, sometimes my clients are not even aware what terms have been modified and agreed. So this is where a document is important because everything that's in there is exactly what you've agreed. You can check the terms again to be sure. All right, is this what we have agreed on? If it is not, then you should talk about it before you sign on the dotted line so that when you sign it, you can say, this is all we have discussed. So this document, right, distills maybe 500 emails that you've been sending back and forth. So that's a lot better, isn't it? Yeah, and also you leave that dirty job to your lawyer to do it because your lawyer will obviously be going through it and asking all the questions. But at the same time, your lawyers are not there to make the deal for you. We are not there to
tell you what to do.
Sometimes that frustrates people. It's like, but I want my lawyer to tell me what to do. Unfortunately, you still have to enter the contract with your own mind, with your own free will. So what are you agreeing on? What I can do is basically flag out for you and say, hey, have you considered these risks that you're undertaking? How do you intend to protect them? So that's where my clients would, receive it well. And then they say, oh, yeah, maybe I should talk to him or talk to that partner about it before we sign.
Yeah, a lot of people think that lawyer fees are really expensive, and that's why perhaps many people don't really go into a law firm to look out for a lawyer to get that contract done. So what is the advice you give young startups and even SMEs?
Yes.
So two tracks of advice. What advice would you give them in terms of as a lawyer?
Okay, I would say that there's no harm actually going to see a lawyer for consultation. Okay, and before you see a lawyer for consultation, just ask the lawyer or the law firm and say, how much does it cost? Right? Yeah, be upfront about the money. This is like, just say, how much you charge. Like some different law firms will charge differently. So you can get people who charge you maybe 300 to 500, or based on the lawyer's experience, they will charge according to the charge out rate, for 1 hour. But I always tell people, say, look, usually if you have an idea what you want to do for your business, you probably don't need more than an hour of the lawyer's time. As a starting point, be able to give you that kind of pointer, like, okay, maybe I should think about certain issues, and that's where the lawyer is very helpful. Not just me, but any lawyer for that matter, just to spend that hour. That will help you to clarify a lot of things. I have clients who come up to me and say, wow, that 1 hour was so useful, and then they see me maybe 8 months later, because they've managed to sort out some of the issues, some of the things that flagged up to them was really quite early, so they were able to negotiate a better deal. So this is what I mean. Now for $300-400 of consultation, for example, it's so much cheaper than an iPhone, right? Yet it's something that is going to impact your business in a very serious way.
I remember you mentioned over one of our conversations that someone actually got you to do a contract, and because of that, that customer actually got a really huge deal. Yeah. So share a little bit about that. I think this will impact those who are from SMEs.
Okay. Well, what happened was that my client actually asked me, wanted to draft some standard terms and conditions, which is what I advised as well. I said, look, you're going to be entering into not just one contract. You're going to be entering into several contracts, and of course have like your own company's master template. So what happened was that he closed a deal with one client, with one of his customers, and his customer referred another customer to him. Now, when he sent the standard terms and conditions and the contract over, the first thing that this company said was, I want to deal with you because I can see you do things properly.
Wow.
You're credible because of the fact that your contract, I can see, is well drafted. So my client then gave me feedback and said, hey, thanks so much. I know this contract you drafted like a few times over, as in a few months ago. But because he was doing regular business and he was just entering and giving this contract to his clients to sign, this is the first time that he had gotten a big deal, closed a big account.
Do you mind disclosing roughly how much?
I can't disclose.
Okay, we're trying to find out, so it means having a contract can make or break your business as well.
It was definitely a 6-figure contract.
Woo! Yeah. So a contract can actually help us.
In terms of building up that trust and credibility, to say that you're professional, rather than giving a 2-pager that you download from Google or something.
Well, I like that, So what are some of the minimum contracts that a startup should have or SME should be actually looking into? Is staffing, like hiring staff, those are contract as well? Or?
Yeah, yes, of course, get staffing contracts. If you're going to have staff, then get staffing contracts. That will be necessary. Also, we need to look at your nature of your business. Are you dealing with a lot of suppliers? Are you a distributor for some product? So we need to see what are some of the contracts you would need. Now, obviously, right from the word go, make sure you have a business agreement drafted up between your partners, or shareholders, depending on what kind of company setup or corporate setup you have, business entity that you have. Right from the word go, as I mentioned, a lot of times the litigation happens when the business is doing well. And when business is doing well, everybody wants a share of the profits, and everybody is saying that, I deserve more. I deserve a bigger piece of the pie. You were not so active in the company, even though you have supposedly more shares in the company than I do. And so a lot of these disputes can be settled if you have agreed right from the start, in your shareholders agreement, your business partnership agreement, what you're looking for.
Would this be not doing the incorporation, right? This is a separate agreement to define the roles of individuals.
Yes, individuals and business partners, who are business partners, that's right. Now, the other aspect, of course, would be looking at your IP protection. If you've got branding, then of course you need to get your trademark, registrations up and stuff like that. Yeah, so there are different areas you can look at. So if you're giving licensing or franchise agreements, then of course you will need that right from the word go.
Wow. And this has, got you started. So in your time when you are doing all these disputes and stuff, and I'm just curious, what were the most common resolute or how did they resolve those issues?
Even before they go for litigation or before they... you're talking about when there's already a fallout, a dispute? Well, if parties are reasonable and they are able to talk it through, then of course we will get them to sign on a settlement agreement because by that time there's a fallout and you probably would not have had a proper business partnership at the start, or you could have, but now things have changed and parties want more or less. So that's where we will draft up a settlement agreement where we will ensure that the parties, they part nicely on whatever agreed terms they have. And one of the key things is to make sure in your settlement agreement that you keep things confidential. That, you don't want at the end of a settlement walk away and say, so-and-so, he admitted that he was wrong. So it's not admission of liability.
Yeah, but there are some people who breach such confidentiality, right? I believe.
Yes, they do. So if they do, then
can we counter sue them?
You can.
Based on Hong Kong drama already.
You can sue them based on breach of contract. Yes, indeed you can. Yes. But I won't go into details as to how it depends.
That's another thing altogether. So coming back, to your passion. So Claire is a lawyer. She helps SME business owners to look at contracts, to draft contracts, of course, to help them to either protect their interests or protect whoever she's representing. So one of her passion projects is to help people who are in relationship, in marriages, to succeed. So she has gotten this opportunity to learn from this University of Denver.
Yes.
Yep, and she's gotten this quite a certification, and she's been running classes and has helped over 200 couples, and successfully still, I would say about 80%, you're saying about 80% of them stayed together?
Well, at least those 80% of those who come to see me, yes.
Okay, 80% of those who came to see her stayed together. And I mean, they were almost on the verge of divorce and they stayed together after trying her methods. So I'm just curious, what is actually your vision moving forward? I mean, as a mom, as a lawyer, would you consider shifting your interest into full-time into this area?
That's always a possibility. We'll see how that develops. But of course, my vision in my own personal life is really the same motto as my marriage education program, which is the tagline, which is successful lives, successful relationships, successful lives. I think, as you know, litigation is usually a breakdown of relationship. They can't agree on things, and so they have to fight it out in court. And so if only couples were, or in our own lives, it doesn't have to be in a marriage situation, just even in work or anywhere that you have people that you care about, can we build something successful from there? And when you find that you're at peace with one another, in terms of your closest, contacts and friends and family, then that's where it gives you that energy to be able to build a successful life in your business. A lot of times business failure is also due to a lot of emotional issues that go on, relationship breakdown, and I think it goes together. You can't look at a successful life without looking at successful relationships. It's no point being the CEO of a very big company and you've got like 5 failed marriages.
Sounds familiar. Some people are like that,
No, I do understand this, and it is very heartbreaking. I'm not condemning them. I'm just saying that, when I look at situations like that, my heart goes out to them because I tell myself, if only things can be done differently, perhaps there were more skills, perhaps there could have been other ways that it could have, saved the marriage. And this is something I tell myself as well. It's like that I have to work on my own relationship as well. I can't neglect that.
So what are the 3 secrets that you can share with our audience today that you have come so far with your husband before you became a lawyer, and then on the journey with your kids while you're doing your litigation work and then now progressing into even going together to take up a program to help more couples? How was that like? So what are the 3 secrets for you?
I think one would definitely, I have to say, is shared faith. My husband and I, we do have a shared faith in the same religion. And I think that is also statistically proven that when a couple share the same religious beliefs and even do shared activities together in the religious community, it goes a long way in terms of marital satisfaction. So I personally would have experienced that. The second thing would obviously be the fact that you have to have a long-term view. Don't look at the things that irritate you now about your partner and say that, this is the be-all and end-all, I'm going to walk out of here.
For example?
Well, I don't know. For example, people might get so irritated with...
you anyhow put your clothes.
Yeah, it could be something as simple as that. And that can become a major argument. And then it will lead on to other things like not just the clothes, but the way you handle money, the way you handle kids, and it becomes bigger and bigger all the way. And then it might come to a place where, that's the way you've been brought up. And then it goes into the parents. Yes, I don't go there. Okay. Don't go into in-law territory, because then that is where, all hell breaks loose.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. So sometimes it is tough, but I think one of the key things is that for us is that whenever we are very frustrated with one another about something, and we may have talked about it already, and there may not be any solution to it, is just to learn to take that breather yourself and say that, look, I got to be stronger than this. I got to be strong not just only for my husband or for my children, but for myself. And so this is where I find that one of the key things, right, I would say the second point is you need time alone. You need time alone. You need time alone to reflect, count your blessings, right? Keep things in perspective and realize your husband is not the devil that you think he is, right? And say that, okay, there's some good things that I can still appreciate, and focus on that. One of the things that a lot of marriage counsellors will say, and this I've seen, I've heard of testimonies, where they've gotten bickering couples, right, to say, for 1 week, don't do anything but just thank each other for everything they've done. Just even if you want to bite your tongue and say, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for making that coffee for me. But say, do it, and over 1 week, right, the report is amazing. The couples actually find themselves actually really being truly grateful for one another.
Really?
Starting from a point where a week ago, they were like at each other and they were like
trying to eat each other up.
Yes, correct.
Wow.
So I think there is a lot to do with the way we have to actively rewire our brain.
Wow, I like
I
that.
said that, as I mentioned about women of influence, putting that positivity in is so important. If you can just be, just give that little bit of positivity to somebody for that day, even if it's just a kind word, say it, don't hold back. Say, hey, thanks, that's a job well done, just say it. You'll be surprised when you're more generous with your compliments and your thanks,
Wow.
right? These are little things that you can do. And so that's the second tip.
Second secret, okay, why your marriage is so successful, even though you're a lawyer, people always have misconceptions about lawyer. They will fight, they will try to argue, but
we do argue.
Yeah, but you have such a successful marriage, and even before you were a lawyer, you were already married, right? With a kid and stuff. I think you're amazing. Okay, so what's the last secret?
Last one is don't give up hope. Okay. There is always resources for you to turn to whenever you find yourself with a roadblock. I'm amazed at the number of resources I can find even on Kindle or Amazon or stuff like that, and even connect with people whom you might never dream of connecting with. Like drop Janisha an email and say, hey, how do you solve this problem? I'm sure you experienced that.
I do have a lot of cases as well.
Exactly.
But
so I can imagine that,
sometimes we don't know who to refer to,
Oh, yeah, then you can, feel free to refer to me because I don't do the counseling myself. Like I said, I am connected with people I know in the social service industry, and I'm telling you, it's not a stigma to ask for help. Because really people think, seeing a social worker means,
there's a stigma,
mental problem or something. No, it's not. It just means that you've hit a road bump, okay, and you just need maybe only one session. Just 1 hour.
What if the wife wants and then the husband don't want?
It's fine. Then go alone. Go alone. Okay, go alone.
So it doesn't mean that you need to be together to go attend together.
You don't have to, because change comes from within.
Wow.
Right? Change comes from within. It's easier said than done, but it really is the truth. Change comes from within. And a lot of times when you think, we want to change the other person, but the more you do that, right, you're going to get counter results from that. You're going to get backlash from it. Actually, it's better to say, as you change yourself, you'll be surprised because your responses change towards the person. The person obviously notices it. And they cannot help but also be nicer to you and change in kind as you are more and more positive. They will look ridiculous if they continue to be negative towards you.
But some people continue to do that.
Yes.
I have seen some.
Yes, I've seen that. Now, like I said, then do it for yourself, which is why I say it's very important that you do it because it is something you personally value and you're not going to change for the world.
Wow. Yeah. I like that. So what is the one advice that you will give women entrepreneurs or women business owners out there who want to improve their marriages? Of course, the 3 secrets, but what is the one advice of stepping up, maybe want to reach out or improve their marriage?
Well, I would say that, be thankful for your husbands. Even if you might feel like I'm not getting really all the support I can get from him, because I know it's tough for women entrepreneurs, especially if your husbands are not really in the same business with you. I've seen cases where women entrepreneurs have husbands who are actually working side by side with them, in the same business, and they are speaking and they are working together. So that's great. Even then, there's challenges. So I would say that for women entrepreneurs is just to bear in mind that your husbands are not perfect. No one is ever going to be perfect. And you married him for good reason, I'm sure. Okay. Sometimes we forget the reason why we marry, so and so, and you stare at him, maybe he's 20 kilos heavier, or maybe he looks different from the day you first met him, right? But just remember that, be grateful for him. And just start with that attitude of thanksgiving is the one thing I must say, do that. Whether you feel like it, don't feel like it, you will reap results from it.
Okay, so so how can my audience reach you?
They can reach me even at my website.
So you have 2, right?
Yes.
One is the SME and then one is the... So you want to share 2?
Okay, fine. Well, you can actually go to my law firm website, kalcolaw.com. KALCOLAW.com.sg. And you can look up for my details for me. My email address, I guess, is Claire, Claire, at kalco.com.sg.
Okay.
Now, for my marriage business, it's www.lifebuilders.com. LIFEBUILDERS.com.sg. Yes, and my email address is claire@lifebuilders.com.sg.
Perfect. And are you on LinkedIn?
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn as well.
So people can connect with you on LinkedIn as well.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Great. So it's been an awesome day. I want to thank you for joining us on the show. For this show that is for women who love being fabulous, having freedom and financial independence, but also taking care of our hearts and our soul and our relationships, because when we have success in business, we also want to have a balanced view of our relationships, right? So there's a win-win in life. There are 2 parts to this interview, so do remember to check out both episodes. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so honored that we are connected, and I hope that I can continue to serve you as you build your dreams. And if you love this episode, and I hope that you did, rate it 5 stars. Give us that glowing review, because it will help more women around the world finding the Soul Rich Woman podcast. Alone you are strong, together we are unstoppable. Now share this with every woman who needs it, because this is how we are changing the world, one woman at a time. As always, get out of your comfort zone and go towards the dreams you've always wanted to achieve. For women who love the F word, being fabulous, having freedom, and financial independence. My dear soul rich woman, sending you my love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.